We're taking you all around Major League Baseball with the National League stars with 3 games playing hero ball, or 3 names, I should say, playing hero ball. Shohei Ohtani doing Shohei Ohtani things, and Christopher Sanchez is pretty good at baseball. We'll be getting into all of it on MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Hello, everybody. I am your host, Javier Reyes, and welcome to Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network out there. I'm your host, and the host as well of the Locked On Padres podcast, alongside my partner, Shukri Wrights, of Locked On MLB Game Night, Locked On NHL Game Night, and he's a producer over at 97.5 The Fanatic in Philadelphia. Shukri, how are you doing on this fine, baseball, spectacular, fun-filled night?
I'm doing great. It's definitely exciting to work with you for the first time on this show. Man, what a night of baseball. And you talk about a night of performances. Monday night provided you with some theatrical performances. I can't wait to get into it with you starting now.
Absolutely, man. We're first going to take it over to Chicago. Cross-time matchup. White Sox and the Cubs. The Cubs win this one in very dramatic fashion, as I messed up the cold open of this show, but Pete Armstrong had some heroics, and Sam Olber of the Locked On Cubs podcast has all you need to hear about it.
Oh, man, I feel like Chris Collinsworth with that laugh. Cubs walk off the White Sox 7-5 and 10. A wild crosstown classic, a classic crosstown classic. Game had everything. I thought both teams actually didn't play well, which led to a crazy game. Pete with the walk-off homer. He led the game off with a homer, finished the ball game with a homer. Have no idea how he gets pitched to in that situation. Don't care if it's left on left. Makes no sense to me, especially with the propensity of Seiya to press. And then you had Owen Miller in the game for Bregman and the struggling Bush. I mean, it was, I know Bush was sitting before Bregman, but that was a crazy decision to me. PCA and Jacob Webb. They have carried this team for 3-4 months now. They carried them tonight. They were the difference in the ball game. Webb with the scoreless 10th. Ryan Zefferjohn continues to really struggle. Showed a pitch well tonight. Gave up a home run. The Cubs left a lot of opportunities on the board. Nico had 4 hits in this baseball game, including the game-tying base hit in the 9th inning. As you could see with the update, it just happened. It's a wild one. Cubs take game 1 of this series. Hopefully they can get them back going again.
Absolutely, man. Sam had the enthusiasm about that one. And Pete Armstrong, Shukri, I mean, this has been the discussion for a while, which is he the MVP winner? I personally say yes, because I like fun things in baseball instead of running back the same thing over and over. But what say you so far?
I'll say 100%. And I've even said it to John right here on MLB Game Night, where I've said that PCA has to be your National League MVP, especially if the season ends tomorrow. But obviously it doesn't. But as of right now, he's got to be your lead vote getter for the National League MVP award. Because listen, tonight's game between the Cubs and White Sox featured a beautiful 1-2 punch, and I loved watching both PCA. Not to be forgotten, Seiya Suzuki. Like they said, you know what? Let's set Wrigley Field on fire, not literally, figuratively, and it did exactly just that. And both Suzuki and PCA went deep in this one. And what a game and what a performance, especially in the bottom of the 10th inning. The PCA walk-off 2-run homer. Man, oh man, brother, when I tell you, I can't remember the last time I've seen Chicago this on fire between the two fan bases since 2008, man. It's been unbelievable to watch.
Absolutely. At PCA, what a game, man. 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs, 2 home runs, a stolen base, and a walk. Because why not? Let me just throw that in there. And the starting pitcher performance is obviously very good. Sam mentioned it. Shota Imanaga, got to give a shout out to him. 6 innings in this one, 3 runs, but did strike out 10. So big win for the Cubs. And the White Sox have been having a good season too, but the Cubs do edge them out this time. Next, though, we go to Philly. Your lovely place where you work, indeed, where the Marlins took on the Phillies, and the Philadelphia Phillies actually don't blow this one. They win by a score of 6-5, and Connor Thomas of the Locked On Phillies podcast is here to tell us all about it.
Well, the Phillies win one of the strangest 6-5 baseball games you're going to see all year. 14 hits for the Marlins, 11 for the Phils, and then a combined 11 runs between the two teams. Feels like those numbers don't add up. Well, a lot of runners left on base for both sides in this one. The Phils had some opportunities they didn't cash in on. But ultimately, these are the scrappy wins that you're going to have down the stretch if you want to be a playoff team, especially against a divisional opponent coming off of a sweep in Minnesota. Christopher Sanchez gets his 16th win of the year. He was sharper than his line's probably going to tell you when everything's all said and done. Just a little bit of bad luck here and there. And then the rain came in and made it tough for the bullpen. Guys weren't spotting up on either side. There was a fair ball called a foul ball that was overturned that probably saved the Phillies a run, which they really needed. Joan Duran ends up giving up a run. A lot of stuff happened in this game, but ultimately the Phillies persevered, and that's something that you haven't seen enough from them this year. A scrappy win. We'll take it 4 straight, and we'll talk more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
Hey, man, look, Phillies, they've been weird, and they're still in that playoff race for sure with the NL wild card, with my Padres, the D-backs, and a bunch of other teams. But, hey, Christopher Sanchez, still very, very good. And as you put down, MLB leading 16th win for the Phillies over the Marlins. It's a great team,
Right.
and I think that they've been in the playoffs a bunch of times before. They looked dead at one point in the season, but now they are looking like they're just cooking with gas out there, man. 6 innings in this one, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 6 Ks for him. In terms of the offense, though, Bryce Harper 3 for 4 with a walk. The overrated, some would call Mr. Bryce Harper. And by that, I mean their own GM apparently. RBIs from Chase Turner, Alec Boehm, and Luis Arraez. JT Realmuto. I bring him up because my best friend's a Philly fan, hates him. Well, this one goes out to you. He does have 2 walks and a single in this game. Shukri, this is a big win for them, and I think every game from here on out for the Phillies is going to be a big one.
Massive. And this is a team that, if you ask me, that when you think about like what this means in terms of the playoff standings, start there. You know, like this is a big one because of the fact that both the Padres and the Diamondbacks lost their games tonight. But then also Christopher Sanchez, when he's at Citizens Bank Park pitching at home here in Philadelphia, he's truly been like borderline unbeatable, if you ask me. So I would even go as far as to say that for Christopher Sanchez, yeah, was he sharp tonight? Yes. He was he pretty darn good? Absolutely. And lastly, I would say is that like this is the kind of win that you talk about, like that continues to build even more confidence for a Phillies team that's been very up and down this season, and this was a big one tonight for Christopher Sanchez getting his 16th win of the season.
Absolutely, man. But we head next to Pittsburgh, where a team that, used to have an ace as good as Christopher Sanchez and the Detroit Tigers, they actually win tonight's game. They continue their post-trade deadline Ewing theory stretch by still winning and being actually pretty dang good without both him and Casey Mize. Framber Valdez gets a start for them, 5 2/3 innings pitched, 4 earned runs on 5 hits, 4 walks, and 5 Ks. So not the best start there, but worse for the Pirates. Cameron Mlodzinski, hopefully I said that name right, 3 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned run, a walk, and 3 Ks. Nick Gonzalez for the Pirates drives in some runs here, 1 for 2 with a double and 2 walks. Nick York with 2 for 4 with a double and 3 RBIs. But obviously, it was the Tigers offense that got it done big time in this one. Gleyber Torres, 1 for 4 with 2 walks. Kevin McGonigal continues his Rookie of the Year stretch, going 2 for 6 with a home run and 2 RBIs. And then all over the place, Zach McKinstry gets a 3-hit game. You get something from Callahan. Everyone, Colt Keith even shows up in this one. This Tigers team, man, they are trying for that wild card spot. I know it's a weak division, league in the American League, but even still, considering that they gave up on their guys, understandably, I think that they have to feel pretty dang good about that. And then we've got the Braves and Twins, in which the Minnesota Twins win this one by a score of 4-2. And CJ Bumgarner of the Locked On Twins is here to give us his thoughts on a team that looked like they were going to sell at the deadline. Then they didn't, despite selling last year. So they're at a weird vibe right now. Let's see what he has to say.
season-saving win again for the Minnesota Twins. I know they have like a season-saving win every week, but very, very important for them to get this 4-2 win over the Atlanta Braves, snapping an 11-game losing streak against Atlanta. But also, again, after losing 3 in a row, you got swept by the Philadelphia Phillies. Very important for the Twins to come out and have a 4-run first inning here, set the tone early. Bailey Ober did just enough to keep the Braves at bay long enough for the Twins bullpen to take over. Josh Bell, 2 RBI, Cody Clemens, an RBI, Royce Lewis, an RBI, and hey, how about Cody Clemens not only driving in a run, but a great defensive play in the 8th inning to prevent a run from scoring, and that's important because if they do let that run score, then in the 9th inning, the tying run is just 90 feet away. So very important that the Twins played good defense. They gave Ober some run support early, and just more importantly, got back in the win column. Now they got to make it 2 in a row.
And will they be able to? We'll see. But all I know is that the Twins have been such a weird team all year long because they sold big time. And Shukri, I don't know about you, but they feel like a team that didn't need to sell because of how much more in contention they've been this year. We'll have to see how it goes down because, again, we just mentioned the Tigers and now the Twins. Very, very competitive wildcard race over there in the American League. Us, of course, us, you're a Yankees fan, so I shouldn't say us. I keep forgetting, despite your Philly background.
That's totally fine.
With the Padres, man, we're like, oh, you peasants over there in the American League. We actually have to work for our playoff spot over here in the National League. Speaking of the National League, guys, we'll be talking about the guy you might have heard of, I guess, in Shohei Ohtani, and another walk-off big-time performance from another one of the National League's beta stars. Stay tuned here on Locked On MLB Again Yet. But first, let me take a second to talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that's our friends over at FanDuel. Baseball fans, if you think you know who's hitting a homer today, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to call your shot with daily dingers. It's easy to play. Just make your free pick for who you think will hit a home run in their game. And if you're right, you'll receive a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. And best of all, you can make a free pick every day throughout the MLB season. Daily Dingers is another fun way to stay engaged with every day's games, whether you're following your favorite team or keeping an eye on matchups across the league. Every game has someone capable of going deep. Now you get the chance to make your prediction before the first pitch. So, are you ready to play your game today? Join all the action at FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official betting partner of the MLB, Major League Baseball. Go check it out. Just like that, we're back here. Javier Reyes and Shukri writes, Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night. Let's move on to those Dodgers. I mean, everybody hates them. I get it. But we got to talk about them because Shohei Ohtani, you can't not talk about this guy. Another big game from before that. Got to mention Blake Snell continues his great, one of the great wonders of the world. Can't pitch in the first half, is absolutely unhittable in the second. 6 innings in this one, only 1 earned run on 2 hits, 3 walks, and 5 Ks. For the Rockies, it was Adel Amador opening up the game before giving way to Tomoyuki Sagano, who does not Blake Snell things. He gives up 6 earned runs in 5 innings, 1 walk, 3 Ks. The Dodgers end up winning this one 11-5. And like we said, Shohei Ohtani, man, he does Shohei Ohtani things. 2 home runs in this one, 4 for 5 in total with 3 RBIs. You also get a 3 for 5 day from Freddie Freeman. Andy Pajes gets in on the action as well. 3 for 4 from him. 2 for 4 day with a home run and 3 RBIs from Max Muncy. Mookie Betts actually gets I almost said Mickey Betts. Mookie Betts, 1 for 5, and 2 RBIs. That would have been a little bit of Freudian slip, but great offensive day for the Dodgers. Shukri, what else is there to say about this team at this point, other than the fact that they've kind of not been playing great lately?
No, they haven't.
But, I mean, I think we all can agree they're still probably the best team in baseball.
I mean, you definitely can say that without question. I think also tonight was another reminder as to what happens when this team is, perpetually passing the baton, meaning trusting each other. And I felt like there were times where during the stretch where the Dodgers I've looked sluggish offensively, where they were just trying to do too much. Mm-hmm. And tonight was like, I trust the guy who's hitting behind me to get the job done. We talked about Shohei Ohtani with the 2 home runs, but Max Muncy as well. How about Mookie Betts? Like Andy Pajes at his performance. So it's one of those things where like the Dodgers, they got back to being the machine that we
Mhm.
all know that they are, and it was definitely quite the sight tonight in Coors Field in Denver.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's obviously it's a regular season. They're playing for the playoffs, but you still like to see, if you're a Dodgers fan, see those stars show up because it had been a little bit. And every single
Yeah,
one, from pitching to Shohei to the demigod that he is, to your Mookie Betts, to your everybody, except for Kyle Tucker, who is still one
yeah.
of the more underperforming stars in Major League Baseball. He doesn't do much in this game. We'll see if he can turn it around as the rest of the season develops. But next up, we've got the Athletics and the Royals. And this one, the Royals get the win 9-5. And Jack Johnson, host of the Locked On Royals podcast, he had some thoughts that he'd like to share about Bobby Witt Jr.
Ooh.
Behind 3 hit games from Bobby Witt Jr. and Jack Caglione, the Royals opened their homestand with a win over the Athletics. I'm the host of Locked On Royals, Jack Johnson, giving you a few thoughts from tonight's game. Well, early on, it looked like the Royals were well on their way to a dominant performance over former farmhand Mason Barnett. They tagged him for 3 runs in the bottom of the first inning and 2 more in the second, but things actually got a little bit closer after the Royals led 6-1. After a pair of homers from the Athletics, it actually got as close to 6-4, but as we mentioned earlier, it was Bobby Witt Jr. and Jack Caglione leading the way to give them a comfortable cushion late, but yet again, it was Lucas Erceg just not pitching well at all. He didn't record an out in the 9th inning. The Royals had to go to Steven Cruz in a save situation, but he got a double play ball and a ground out to secure the series opening win, and they will try to at least earn a split tomorrow. We'll see who they're going to be sending to the bump.
Look, no secret. Let's be honest, both the Royals and the A's have not been very good this season, but there's still some star power there. And you want to see, if you're a fan of both teams, see something show up. I will tell you, though, you didn't get it from the pitching side of things. Mason Barnett for the A's, just 2 2/3, giving up 6 earned runs on 4 walks and 2 Ks. Michael Wacha for the Royals, decent start, though. 5 innings, 4 earned runs, 0 walks, 3 Ks. Again, love to see it from those guys. And the A's, just one of the, they're a fun hipster team that we get excited about every now and then. Lawrence Butler and Nick Kurtz, but they have the worst run differential next to the Rockies in Major League Baseball. They have been truly, truly, truly bad this year. Is there any sort of hope, you think, that these teams could turn it around next year? Do you think, Shukri?
I do think so. I mean, I like the Royals a lot on terms of the fact of what they have currently in terms of like the core, like, Pasquantino. We obviously know about, like Bobby Witt, and so forth. And I just think that Kansas City, they definitely have like a very positive, a very bright future, and so forth. But I also will say that in terms of the A's, they're right there. Like Nick Kurtz obviously has become like a big time run producer, home run hitter for the Athletics. So I do think that, like in terms of for both teams, like can they turn it around for next year? Possibly, if they add like, some veteran talent that's going to help, like guide these young ball clubs for sure. But there's no question in my mind that like if you ask me like which team has the brighter future, like I like the Royals a lot, but I also think I gotta lean towards the Athletics at this time.
Yeah, and look, we'll see what happens when they move and whatnot. We'll see if they get some motivation from the owner that allegedly cares. We'll have to see if he actually wants to care in these next few years,
Yeah.
and to maybe boost this ball club just a little bit. But I will tell you, these next 2 teams, both of our hosts on the Locked On Network, they certainly care a lot. We got a double header with the Cardinals and the Reds. In the first one, the Cardinals get the edge. So we're going to hear from JD Haffron of Locked On Cardinals. And I think it's really funny to hear from him because we're going to hear from Jeff, which they won in that one. So we're going to see like the very, very different emotions, I think, in this one. Let's hear from JD first, though.
Play Freebird. Cardinals take game 1 of the doubleheader in Cincinnati against the Reds by a score of 2-1. Hey, it's JD from Locked On Cardinals. And when you look at the score, you're like, wow, what a pitcher's duel. Kind of. Neither one of these offenses got a whole lot when it came to runs, but the Cardinals had a lot of opportunities. Alec Burleson hits a 2-run double in the first inning. Ends up being the only 2 runs they score in this game. They finish 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position. They strand 9. They left a lot of meat on the bone. A lot of runners on base. Got to do better. Got to do better, especially in a ballpark like Great American Ballpark, where normally there's runs all over the place. But didn't happen in this one. Quinn Matthews got the start, goes 4 innings, 1 earned run, 7 Ks. He walks 3, threw a lot of pitches. So didn't factor in the decision. But, man, this bullpen was good on Monday. 5 shutout innings for the bullpen, 1 hit against, 8 Ks, no walks. No walks. That's what we like to see. Game 2 coming up here in just a little bit. For the latest updates and info, be sure to keep it Locked On Cardinals.
Absolutely. And look, the Cardinals have been one of those pesky teams that have been around all year. And they showed up in this one. They get the 2-1 win. And the Reds, I mean, look at this offense. All you get is Dane Myers going 2 for in this game. And Ellie De La Cruz, what a bad player he is, going 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Like, you would have to do something like walk off the game after that if you wanted to redeem a performance like that. Thankfully, though, he did exactly that in the second game of the doubleheader. The Reds taking it 6-5. And our man, Jeff Carr of Locked On Reds, is super duper excited about it.
You know, sometimes you just gotta have fun watching baseball, and I get it. The Reds, they like to really test that sometimes. I mean, in fact, the first 14 innings of their doubleheader on Monday, they scored 2 runs. They scored 1 run in the first game and lost 2-1. And then they scored 1 run in the first 5 innings of game number 2, and you're like, here we go again. But they pull out all the stops late, including first career RBIs, 2 of them, for Hector Rodriguez, and first career walk-off for Ellie De La Cruz. Wow. And there's nobody that makes the game more fun than Ellie. Look, I understand he's been in the middle of a slump. He's had a couple of bad plays the last few days, including a caught stealing in this game, and you're just like, man, it really feels like he's going through it right now. But a huge hit in the bottom of the 10th inning to give the Reds a walk-off win and score Tyler Stevenson from second. And the Reds at least split the doubleheader. Hopefully they can turn this around. Maybe they can win the series against the Cardinals, and then they win the season series if they do that. But that doesn't happen without Ellie De La Cruz. You gotta love it.
You gotta love it indeed. Shukri, Ellie De La Cruz, he's been one of the more exciting players of baseball for a long time. And I think Jeff is maybe unintentionally getting on one of my favorite subjects, which is just like, okay, just because your team isn't winning the World Series doesn't mean you just can't have fun ever, right? Even if you're not in the playoffs, you just watch an exciting guy who just looks like one of the best athletes in the league, not named a Shohei Ohtani, a Fernando Tatis Jr., some others, right? Like, he is such a great player, and I love him very much.
You know what's funny about Ellie De La Cruz is that you could see the passion and the joy that he plays with. Like, every time that he steps on the field, and tonight was absolutely no different, in which that, look, he didn't like the fact that he was getting days off from Reds manager Terry Francona. I don't blame him. So what did? He channeled that anger and frustration and really like bounce back from what was a tough day game. Let's face it, going 0 for 4 sucks. And Ellie De La Cruz really showed us all like the level of mental toughness, where he was not only just quickly able to move on to the next game, but in the same day, the first game of a doubleheader, you go 0 for 4. It would have been easy to say, you know what, man, you know, today is not my day. Not Ellie De La Cruz. And you know, he did put on a much better performance in game number 2, despite the fact that he was a DH in this one. He didn't play the field.
Absolutely. And speaking of not being your day, well, we got to talk about a team that got absolutely throttled despite being in the wild card race by the Boston Red Sox, and some off-field questions when it comes to Ketel Marte, as well as an off-field story regarding my team, the San Diego Padres, and some certain ownership announcement that occurred. Keep it locked in here on Locked On MLB Game Night. My co-host says, uh-oh, indeed, but not when it comes to Amazon. Thanks to them for this limited ad break, because with back to school season, another spend less on your kids with Amazon. We all know how crazy the back to school shopping experience can be. It starts with a few items, and then suddenly you're shopping for supplies and clothes and different lunch gear and all the different tech that's available these days. It changes every 10 seconds. And there's about 10 other things aside from what I've just mentioned you didn't see coming. It adds up fast. The school supply list, the first day outfit, the tech, the last minute panic when it's 9 p.m., night before school starts. And someone remembers, oh, wait, dude, we need folders. I need multiple folders, in fact. So remember, with Amazon's low back to school prices, just spend less on your kids, because every dollar you don't spend on them is a dollar you haven't spent on them. Shop to back to school on Amazon and spend less on your kids. Check it out. And just like that, we're back here, Locked On MLB Game Night. Javier Reyes here, and my man Shukri writes. Next up, it's Arizona taking on the Boston Red Sox, and I use that loosely because this game wasn't much of a competition. Oh, man. My goodness. First of all, the start goes to Mitch Bratt, who actually is not awful in this one. 3 innings, 3 earned runs on 4 hits. Not good. Definitely not good, but not awful. It is Zach Little. Once upon a time, your every hipster baseball fan you know's favorite free agent. He gets absolutely massacred in this one, going just 3 2/3, giving up 8 runs, only 6 earned on 11 hits. My goodness, what a performance! And Gabby Malgini of Locked On Red Sox is very, very happy about it. Understandably, who doesn't love an offensive onslaught?
Cedar Rafaela has come such a long way at the plate, and he just might have found a home in that 2-hole in the Red Sox lineup. What a win for the Red Sox tonight. 11-1 in the series opener and homestand opener against the Diamondbacks. 16 hits by this team, and 3 of those hits came from Cedar Rafaela with 3 doubles on the night and a 3-4-5 night for him. And he's come such a long way at the plate. And I said this last year, and I've said it multiple times this year. He's just not chasing as much. He's just not forcing swings that he shouldn't be. He's not swinging at nearly as many pitches outside the zone. His chase rate has gone a lot down this year, and it shows. He's making good contact. He still has his Cedar moments with that first pitch swinging and forcing things a little bit, but he's really come a long way when it comes to the plate discipline and really being able to identify those pitches that he should be swinging at, and it's transitioned into results for him on the field this year. The 2 spot has been a great spot for him to hit because he also has that speed that he can utilize in that spot because he's been getting more of that good contact and getting on base. He's been able to put that pressure on opposing pitchers. So hopefully he continues to hit in that spot, but good offensive night all around for lots of guys. Adley Rutschman with a couple deep barrels this evening as well. So that was good to see from him, hitting in the 5 spot as opposed to hitting in the 3-hole. So continue to tune into Locked On Red Sox Monday through Friday for much more on this win and the rest of this Red Sox season.
Look, the Red Sox, they're living the dream right now. Offensive palooza from them, and that's been the case for a while now. Famously with that big winning streak, famously absolutely completely flipping their run differential. And I agree with Gabby here. I mean, Kenan Rafaela, really, really good player. He's been that way for a long time. Sogard, Abreu, Contreras, Rutschman. But I want to take a second to shout out Ketel Marte. For those who don't know, had this weird story thing going on. Antonio Lovello is out of the conference. He's emotional. I don't know if you saw that. So I admittedly don't know the full details. We all don't. But he was placed on the restricted list. Shukri, has there ever been a more, how has this guy not been traded yet, player that hasn't been traded yet that you've ever seen?
If there was one, it would probably be a lot more immediate. But as of right now, no. I can't say that I have. But I also want to just quickly touch on like what the Red Sox did tonight in their win over the D-backs, or what was pretty impressive. Is tonight, did you know that tonight was the first time since June 25th, 1949, that all 9 members of the Red Sox starting lineup had at least 1 RBI.
Wow.
And did not have a single strikeout. That's how historic and impressive this performance was for the Red Sox tonight against the Diamondbacks. So pack that in your lunchbox and take it with you to work if you can.
I love that. I love that so much. That was so good.
You're welcome.
That was so good. Absolutely great stuff from Shukri there, and great stuff from this Red Sox offense. And another game that had a lot of offense, the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa. They gave it a good shot, but unfortunately they do not get the win here, losing 6-7 for the Orioles, getting the start. And I know that that's like a weird thing to say about the Orioles because it seems like they just don't like having starting pitching. Brandon Young gets the start in this one and is 4 innings, 4 earned runs on 8 hits, a walk, and 3 Ks. But it is, oh man, Yanier Cano, who once upon a time was a pretty good reliever, still is, but at least wasn't today. Getting no outs, giving up 3 earned runs. That kind of does it all for the Orioles. In terms of their offense, though, Tyler O'Neill, he goes 2 for 5. They get another home run for Pete Alonso, who's having a very underrated season, given how bad the Orioles have been. Kobe Mayo goes 2 for 5 with a home run as well. And then Christian Encarnacion Strand, 3 for 5 with 1 home run, 4 RBIs. Amazing stuff. Look, the Orioles offense, that has never been the question, but unfortunately the Rays just did more. Yandy Diaz goes 2 for 3 with a home run in this one, as well as a walk like he always does. Jonathan Aranda, he drives in a run as well. And then you also get a couple more runs from Chandler Simpson getting on base. You get stuff from Cedric Mullins. You get my former guy, Jorge Mateo of the Padres. He even gets on base in this one and gets a home run shot as well. The Tampa Bay Rays are always a threat, man, no matter how much people try to refuse it. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, they just seem inevitable.
Like, they are like the cockroach that does not die. You ever seen that annoying insect that you try to kill, it just won't die? That's the Tampa Bay Rays. No matter what's going on, it's absolutely remarkable when you talk about the Rays and what they've been able like to do. And that is for the simple fact that Brian Baker, I'm gonna use him as an example. Yeah, you recorded his first career 5-out save in this one, and he leads the major leagues with 35 saves at that. And it's just really impressive to see how this team and this organization continues to just strut out talent like it's no one's business for the better part of the last 18 years, but especially now. But the Rays, they continue to find ways to get the job done, and they did exactly just that again tonight.
Absolutely, man. One of the American League's best teams. We'll see how it goes in the postseason, but when it comes to the depth, when it comes to just turning guys around, Tampa Bay Ray is the Tampa Bay Ray. Tampa Bay is just one of the best orgs out there, man. Absolutely. And speaking of the best orgs out there, the San Diego Padres go to the Mets, and they lose this one, unfortunately, 2-1 in favor of the Mets. Getting the start for the Padres is Walker Buehler, who goes 6 innings, giving up 2 earned runs on 2 walks, 4 Ks. Wasn't his fault. And for the Mets, Nolan McLean continues his extremely underrated, phenomenal rookie season. 6 innings in this one, only gives up 1 earned run on 6 hits, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And you might be wondering, that's weird, Javi. 1 run by the Padres, despite the fact that the other pitcher gave up 6 hits and walked more than strikeouts? Well, it's because Carson Bench and the Mets defense throwing out the Padres at the plate 3 times in this game. I blame the third base head coach for the Padres personally, at least for the runs in the first inning. But great defense by the Mets. Love giving them a lot of crap. But the Padres, at some point, they were going to cool off. Unfortunately, it was in New York, where I currently reside. Unfortunately, seeing my team lose. But hey, the Mets quietly, they're done. Let's be clear. They're done. They've been done for 3 months now, right? But they have looked a little bit more like a regular, not good team of late, right? You've gotten some hits from Francisco Lindor. You've gotten some stuff from Juan Soto every now and then. And then tonight from Carson Bench. Maybe this is one of those things where you don't have much to lose, and you just hope to see something out of your young players like Bench and continue to see the resurgence bounce back after starting off the season hurt from Francisco Lindor.
You know, this is one thing about the Mets I will say is that it's never been a question of talent. It's they have the talent on the big league roster. It's a matter of, getting guys to be able to buy in and have a complete total buy-in from the start. So for me, when you look at for the Mets, this is part of the reason why they are, and I called them this once before, but they are the biggest disappointment this year. By far, because of the fact that this wasn't a roster or a team devoid of talent. It was okay, how they want to put it together. And, I thought, Bo Bichette would be more of a factor overall, but he wasn't. But he did have an RBI single in tonight's game, which in itself, it was important to see. But then also, you talk about you talk about Carson Bench. My goodness, what an arm. You don't run on that man. Stop running on that man. Do us all a favor. Stop running on Carson Bench, please, because that man will throw you out and have you look foolish while at it too. And that's all I got to say.
Absolutely. And frankly, that's all I got to say too. Thank you everybody for tuning in and for joining us for this episode of MLB Game Night. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We hope you'll be back next time and visit us on MLB Game Night. Every game, every night. We will see you. Take care. Still go Padres. But yeah, that was a tough one. That was